want to show you how you can work out 1, 4, 5 in any key, and I will talk to you about why we talk about 1, 4, 5. All you really need to know is that the 1 chord has the same name as the key of the song. So say we're playing a song in G, the 1 chord is the G chord. Now we could just play the G chord all the way through, but that would be very boring. So we add in some interest with the 4 and 5 chord, and there are thousands and thousands of songs that are written with just the 1, 4 and 5 chords. I won't be going into very much detailed theory today, but if you do want to read more about the background theory, I've articles on my website, beginnercbg.com. The 5 chord is the going home chord. If we talk about 1 as the home chord, 5 is the going home chord. It's the one that we use often in the turnaround of something like the 12-bar blues. In all kinds of songs, it's often the last chord before we get home to the 1 chord again. Now the 4 chord is a little bit different. It adds interest, but it's not quite got that driving thing of the 5 chord back to the 1 chord. So we can just use our fingers to count the 1, 4, 5 chord. So for G, for instance, we go G, A, B, C, D. So that C is the 4 chord. D is the 5 chord, the going home chord. Sometimes that doesn't really help us to work out the sharps and flats. So I want to show you a tool that you can use, and also a way you can do it on your fretboard. So if you do want to use the tool, I've got a free download on my website. And if you cut out the circles and you cut out the piece of pie and you clip them together with one of those split pins, then you can make this little tool. But don't forget, if you just don't want to make the tool, you don't have to. I'll show you how to do it with the fretboard shortly. Spin the pie round until the chord that you want as the 1 is in the middle. So I've got E in the middle, E is the 1 chord, and then I go 1 to the left for the A chord, that's the 4 chord, 1 to the right for the 5 chord, that's the B chord. So E is 1, A is 4, B is 5. I've got B flat in the middle. Now if I go 1 to the left, I get back to E flat. That's the 4 chord, and if I go 1 to the right, that's the 5 chord, which is F. Let's say we wanted to work out the relative minor as well. Now the relative minor of G is the E minor, and that actually is the 6 chord. The relative minor of C is A minor, and that's the 2 chord. And the relative minor of D is B minor, and that's the 4 chord. And you might notice that these outer ring numbers, so the 1, 4, 5 are all capital Roman numerals, and the minor keys are all lowercase, the 2, 3 and 6. Now, as I say, if you don't want to do the cutting out, that's absolutely fine. You can use the fretboard itself. Say I wanted to do it in C. I find C on the fretboard. With a 3-string guitar, I can just use my 5th fret for the C. Now if I count up 5 frets, that takes me up to the 10th fret, and that is F. And if I count down 5 frets to the 0, so 5 down to 0, that's the G. 1 is the C chord, 4 is the F chord, and 5 is the G chord. Now supposing I wanted to use something like A, which is on the 2nd fret for a cigar box guitar, tuned to G, D, G. So I add on 5, 2 plus 5 is 7, so that takes me up to the D chord. So A is the 1, D is the 4. How am I going to take away 5 from 2? We have a little trick. If it doesn't work, because we've run out of notes, we add on 12. And that's because 12 frets up is the same note. G is on the 0 fret, so if we add 12, that takes us up to the 12th fret. But we're talking about A, so we need to add on 12, that takes up to the 14th fret. So the 14th fret is still A. So from the 14th, we take away 5, that takes us down to the 9th fret, and the 9th fret is E. So for A, we've got A on the 2nd fret, D on the 7th fret, and E on the 9th fret. And as you can see, the 4 and 5, there's just 2 frets between them. So sometimes it's easier to just count up 2. But I want to make sure that you've always got a way to do it. Count up 5 for the 4 chord, count down 5 for the 5 chord. Now if you want to work out the minor of a chord, there's an easy way to do that as well. Just count down 3 frets. So if I got C on the 5th fret and I just count down 3 frets, that takes us down to the 2nd fret, and so A minor is the relative minor of C. So that's your 6 chords. Now don't forget, if you want more theory about this, go over and look on my website, beginnercbg.com, and you can also download that tool if you want to. Bye for now.